Hello guys, and welcome to the first episode in a new Let's Play. Today we're going to be playing some Victoria 2 with the Historical Project mod. So I wrapped up the Hungary campaign, and it is time to start a new Victoria 2 campaign. And as I to some extent mentioned, I wanted this campaign to be a little bit more, well, if not interesting, at least a bit more challenging. The two previous nations that I played as, Yucatan and Hungary, were both relatively calm campaigns, with a couple of exceptions in terms of wars and stuff like that. So in this campaign we're going to be playing as someone a lot more challenging. We're going to be playing as a sub-Saharan African primitive nation, and that nation is Zulu, the Zulu kingdom down in South Africa. The Zulu is they're probably one of the most famous sub-Saharan kingdoms in Victoria 2, and well, in history I should really say. But they are also rather interesting in Victoria 2, so hopefully this should be a rather interesting campaign. I've done a couple of test games here, so you can see that. So I have some basic idea of what I want to do here. Now the reason I'm playing in the Historical Project mod instead of the Historical Flavor mod is really because the Historical Flavor mod adds a bunch of stuff related to South Africa, although that stuff is really just focused on the Boers and, you know, the Afrikaners and whatnot. And since we're going to be playing as the actual natives of South Africa, I found that it would just, you know, make this campaign unnecessarily difficult. So I'm a bit of a coward, I guess. Well, you could argue that, anyways. Yeah, let's get going. So here we are, we're in Zulu. So we have our army, the Impi of the Zulu. Of course, the Zulus are famous for their battle, where the Impi, which I think is some sort of a name for a regiment, or maybe that's not entirely accurate. I'm not sure exactly what it's supposed to mean. But the Zulus are famous because among the tribes down here, they were clearly the most powerful because they were able to reform their army under the king's Shaka? Fuck, I don't actually remember. That's awkward, but oh well. And using that reorganized army, they were able to beat the British in a famous battle, which I also forget the name of, although I guess that has something to do with the fact that Zulu is a rather interesting language. It is spelled weirdly, like you have like big letters in the middle of words. And do the Zulus have like clicking sounds, or is that the Khoisan? Yeah, I'm being a bit ignorant here, but it's not like that's abnormal for a European memeing about in African history. So yeah, in game this is represented by a modifier, the Impi, which gives us extra land organization, extra land unit attack, and extra land unit defense. Military innovations such as the Asangai, the age grade regimental system, and the encirclement tactics helped make the Zulu one of the most powerful nations in southern and southeastern Africa. Because before the Zulu did their thing, I mean, even if the tactics they implemented were extremely basic by European standards, by South African standards they were revolutionary, because South Africa in general had been completely transformed by the introduction of European crops and stuff like that. And so, you know, the Africans went from just being, you know, normal tribes people to actually starting to make kingdoms and nations and shit like that. So that army reform was important for that. So yeah, let's go. So the goal for this campaign is, well, primarily just to survive, really, and try and avoid getting just outright killed, as the Zulu did historically. Because even if they won a famous battle against the British, they did actually lose the war. So but you know, when you consider the technological differences, it was still rather impressive and rather cool. So the goal is to survive, and who knows, maybe conquer some of our neighbors. The first thing I want to do is fabricate a claim on Xhosa, this place. I don't know, we're going to try and annex the thing, so hopefully we won't have to pronounce the name anymore. Do we accept Xhosa culture? No, we accept Nguni and Sotho. So no Xhosa, but we accept these people, so I guess we should try and take as much Sotho land as we can. Niguini land as well, so conquering Matabele would be a priority. However, because of the mechanics in South Africa, these areas will become the Boer states, you know, the Orange Free States and the South African Republic, more commonly known as the Transvaal. And as a result of that, if we were to conquer these lands, we would simply have to give them back, which would obviously be counterproductive, because then we would have to conquer them twice, and it would be very expensive in terms of infamy. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to be focusing on the land of Xhosa. Now, the Xhosa, or yeah, I should have googled how to pronounce it, although even if I did Google it, I probably still wouldn't be actually able to pronounce it. Yeah, this place is currently being invaded by the British. The British are trying to make it into a sphereling, although for all my test games, whenever the British conquer the thing, or put them into their sphere, instead of joining a war against me, they will do some sort of decision and annex the province of Bisho, rename it to something English sounding, and leave these two provinces for me. Let's see, let's get some army going. We cannot get some army going. Why can't we get army going? We have to give it some time. Ah! Zulu in the modern age! We have seen the outsiders. They come with guns and riches we have never seen before. What they also bring is death, and we must always be wary what lies behind their smiles. Zulu stands on good terms with much of the Western world, but our leaders are all too aware how quickly that could change. The Europeans believe we are not civilized, and the tone of our contact with them is slowly changing from friendly interest in trade to a strange paternalism coupled with cultural superiority. For now, Zulu survives, but we must watch for the moment when the civilized nations decide our enslavement is the only way we can be quote-unquote saved. Zulu shall endure. So we gain some extra relations with other nations, even the British, so that's nice. Hopefully that'll convince them to maybe not invade us so intensely. Can I build units now? I can. Let's get some cavalry, get some irregulars. We can't really build anything better than that. We start at literally 0% civilization or westernization, so we have a long way to go. The main goal, of course, is to try and westernize before 1880. If we cannot do that, we are basically screwed, because then every nation will gain a casus belli on us, which will allow them to annex us for zero infamy, which would obviously be very bad. So if we cannot achieve that, I'll have to either just proclaim the campaign a failure or restart. Also, speaking of restarting, I'm going to not be save scumming, but I'm going to be restart scumming a bit here to try and yeah, get this casus belli here for relatively cheap. Shouldn't be too hard. Also, yeah, for those who aren't aware, that's kind of a tradition on my channel to restart scum a bit. I don't like save scumming, but I don't know, the technical difference of just outright restarting the campaign makes it fine in my eyes. Somehow. Let's go for some intellectuals, see if we can get that literacy game up. Of course, a big disadvantage as well, in terms of the fact that we are literally 0% civilized, is also the fact that we don't even have a writing system, which gives us minus 100% education efficiency. So in order to fix that, we have to, well, adopt a writing system. And to get that, we need Western influences and 4% literacy. Or some other things, or be civilized, or have military reform. What's that exactly? Is that a specific? No, okay, that's just a general category. Yeah, we definitely want to get some stuff here. Maybe the one isn't post-Napoleonic thought. Well, obviously the obvious thing you want is to get foreign universities, because it gives you the technology enlightenment philosophy, which boosts your tech research by 50%. But it might be smart to start with the military one, because you do get research points for conquering bitches, and we intend to conquer bitches, so that could be useful. Alright, let's see if we can get a... Xhosa wants military access, sure thing fam. That's... okay, time to restart the game. Alright, there we are. So that took about 5 restarts, and yeah, 3 infamy, that's fine. That is within reason. The main thing is that I want to have enough infamy room so that I can immediately invade Gaza, because Gaza is going to be invaded by the Portuguese at some point, and I want to make sure I can grab a chunk of them before that happens. Because Xhosa has a relatively small population, very low actually, but there's more people over here, so I would really like to get some of those people. So now we must be ready for war. Yeah, the British have officially invaded, and they're currently hard at work occupying over here. Now, sadly, we can't actually invade yet, because we don't have enough diplomatic points. Which is, you know, rather interesting. So there we go, we got the casus belli. Come on, diplo points. And... no. Come on, there it is. Yeah. The good thing about invading Xhosa first, I found, is that the British will generally deal with the enemy army, which is good, because we have a very small population, and so we really can't afford to lose manpower. So we're gonna get in here and do our thing. Now, I would like to secure the occupations here. So if, yeah, the British should now go back to their own land and start dealing with the Xhosa. Although even if the Xhosa did want to fight us, we should be capable of beating them. Although, never mind, there goes the Xhosa army. So, yeah, this should work. And there seems to be other wars going on. The Basotho, okay, so... oh, really, the Basotho trying to conquer Matabele? Annex Matabele? Oh, okay, interesting. That is interesting. How can you... oh, really? You have cores on all of it? Huh. Well, we do have some cores ourselves, but those cores are generally not as useful. We could potentially take this province, which I might do. Once again, it's going to be ceded to the Boers, so the Afrikaners, automatically. But it could be a nice temporary holding, because I don't think that thing... I think we're still 10 years off or something like that before those events happen. I don't remember exactly how that worked. I tried to read up on the events in the files to see exactly how they work, but I can't say for sure entirely. Oh, there we are. So the war with the Xhosa has ended. How is influence? Yeah, they're opposed. So yeah, they took this place, they renamed it Port Rex, and we are now free to finish off the remaining chunk of their land, which is good. One thing I might want to do though before I invade Gaza is wait for the creation of the Natal Republic, or Natalia. That is an event that will pop up soon. Yeah, we're going to be suffering from the European Boers quite a bit in this playthrough. There we are. We have the ability now to annex Xhosa. Let's see, extend or do not extend slavery. I think we might extend it. It's not enough slaves here to really make too much of a difference. A couple of slaves can be fine because they boost RGO output. So yeah, slaves. Yeah, so I think that works. Let's extend it. But in provinces up here where the slave population is rather large, like in this province, I think it might be worth not extending it. Do we have yeah, we have slavery over here. So the slavery, yeah, no, it's not very widespread. So it's generally a good thing at this point in the game. Of course, later on when we'll start dealing with industrialization and shit like that, we're going to want to not do that. So let's see. I think it's this year or something like that the Natal event will happen. I think it's the Battle of Blood River. I guess we'll see when the event actually pops up. Western influences, we're gonna have to get that. We need those research points. That's rather crucial. Because we need to try and westernize before the scramble for Africa. It is important indeed. Right, so we're getting some troops here, although we will lose a decent chunk of them once the Boers do their thing. Come on, Boers, just get it over with. Maybe we could just start fabricating against the Gaza people, though. It's gonna take a while to get the state anyways, so I don't think there's any damage done in doing that. Well, yeah, no, the Portuguese won't invade until 41, but the faster we can get that done, the better. Huh. So we just got our casus belli against Gaza, and Natal has yet to spawn. Might just see if we can wrap this war up then before the Natal spawns. Let's see if we can do this quickly. So we're going to go for Gaza itself, which is this province. It's going to make for some funny borders, but this province should be transferred to Transvaal once they spawn. So I'll sort that out. So let's get in here. Go for Gaza. In March. Could try and temporarily fund the army, which might be good to try and beat the enemy one. Sure thing, dude. Everyone can get access. Doesn't really hurt us, so there's no good reason not to. Okay, maybe marching in with my entire army like this was not my brightest idea, but let's see if we can kill their army before the Natal spawns. They are gonna get away. Are they just gonna keep running? Yeah. Really? You're just gonna... Oh, wow, really? One day? Oh, poop. Yeah, here they come. Invasion of the loggers? What is that letter supposed to be? So, you might think that you want to resist them, but it's actually better to just give them the land. Because that shouldn't mean that the British will not get Natal as a puppet. That might be random, though. I'm not entirely sure, actually. No, that Natal remained... I think in a test game, I tried to resist them, and then Natal became a puppet. Yes, this is bad, because they just took a bunch of army with them. Fuck, they won't actually accept peace. That's bad. Shit, we're just gonna have to see if we can win then with inferior numbers. And we definitely can. So we wreck them. Come on, just give up. Yeah, they will. So I went straight for the capital here, you can see. And there we are. So we're not going to extend slavery. And now we're going to swoop in and re-annex Natalia. We do have... yeah, we kept our course on them, so there shouldn't be anything stopping us from doing this. Alright, there we are. Let's re-annex them. Of course, the side effect of this is that Ladysmith and yeah, basically they have like Boer names now, which is silly. Okay, so we actually yeah, okay, my army actually is a bit smaller now than I would have liked. I think I remember in my test game I was able to actually keep my 9 brigades, but it seems like that's not gonna happen. Let's see what kind of... yeah, fuck, I don't actually know. Like what would a sort of primitive army composition, like what would you actually want here? I'm not actually sure about that. Can we build a navy? Huh, we can actually. Because I'm thinking, would an invasion of Madagascar even be doable? You can see how powerful the Impi of the Zulu were, which is our army, when we fought the Gaza people there. So it might be interesting to see if we could take some land off the Madagascar peoples. I don't know. But that would require ships, as I said. Then again, it's not like I don't think Madagascar has any ships. So if we could build them, we might be able to get over here. Can't annex the whole thing, of course, but getting the southern half of the island would be more than enough. The alternative is to wait for us to reduce our infamy to the point where we can annex Suasi, which is a good province, got some okay pop, but most importantly it has accepted pops, so it would be good that way in that sense. Alright, so I noticed that Basotho actually does not have an army to speak of, so I think I'm actually going to get that core of mine before they build an army. So let's go do that. Once again, it will be a temporary holding, but I think we'll keep it for about 10 years. So let's get Basuto land. Let's split our army in half. Try and not have it die horribly and whatnot. Hopefully we can wrap this up reasonably quick. Yeah, I'm going for the capital instead of the actual province. Once again, just to... oh, fuck off. You're gonna do shit? Swazi alliance? Sure. Swazi, I just found as well, they're actually friendly with Britain, so we can't actually invade them. Which is sad, but... unless the British were to sphere us themselves, that is. But I would like to avoid that for as long as possible, because that fucks up your economy. Big time, so... yeah, not a fan of a fucked up economy. For obvious reasons. Surely they'll... yeah, they'll accept immediately. Very cheap, actually, even if I'm taking like 2/3 of their land. We will keep everything we've gained. Let's see, slavery... Nah, it's not that much. We can keep it, I think. Sure, why not? Alright then, so yeah, there we are. The Zulu Kingdom is slowly turning into the Zulu Empire. I think that's going to be it for this episode though. And the next one we'll have to make some decisions on what exactly we want to do next. Maybe trying to outright annex Basotho would be good. After all, they're not friendly with the British, and I think I'll get to actually keep the capital here. And it has coal and 65,000 people, and even some Zulus in it, so that could be useful. There is also the idea of Madagascar, of course. And I am, once again, if I could just build boats, if I could get 5 ships or something like that, I think it should be doable to beat Madagascar. Because they have no tech, but we have the Impy bonus thingy. So that would be very sweet. But for now, that's just gonna have to be as it is. So, yep, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye.